They are some of the most famous people on the planet, and for years they had no idea what was wrong with them. Football sensation Terry Bradshaw, TV star Howie Mandel, rocket scientist Scott Kelly, shoe designer Steve Madden, fitness guru Jillian Michaels, and social media sensation Paris Hilton. When they were kids, few had ever heard of ADHD, but as adults, they've been diagnosed, and they are part of an exploding trend. 4 times the number of adults are being diagnosed with ADHD compared to our children. And if you know how many children are diagnosed, 7 million, you can see why people are really sitting up and taking notice of this. Maybe you struggled in school or were disciplined more than the other kids, or maybe you were shunned by friends. Maybe your grades were low, no matter what you did. Maybe you just knew something was off back when you were a kid. But no matter your age now, there is a way to get answers if you too have ADHD, and more importantly, how ADHD has made some of the most successful people who they are. Ty Pennington says it helped him reach heights he never dreamed of. So what is his secret? How did he capture the magic of his ADHD and then turn it into a fortune? He and the others I mentioned are telling their secrets in a brand new documentary called The Disruptors, and it's streaming right now on Apple TV. And if you or maybe somebody you know and love is living with ADHD, or think that maybe after all these years of wondering you might have it, Ty has a thing or two to tell you, and he's live with me next. It is not just about focus, and it is not just about paying attention either. ADHD is way harder to diagnose than that. Sometimes it shows up in other ways, like defiance and irritability, maybe just an all-around tough time dealing with school, friends, people, employers. As we get better and better understanding ADHD, maybe it is no surprise that more and more adults are being diagnosed with it. 4 times more than at the rate of kids, it turns out. Musician Will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas is one of those adults.
Society didn't do a good job telling you that you have, the ability to focus on many things at once. You're freaking awesome.
Ty Pennington also has ADHD. He is the Emmy Award-winning star of Extreme Makeover, Home Edition, and HGTV's Battle on the Beach. He's one of many prominent voices in the new documentary, The Disruptors, that's currently streaming on Apple TV. He, along with Terry Bradshaw, Howie Mandel, Scott Kelly, Steve Madden, Paris Hilton, and Jillian Michaels, among many more, they are all sharing how their ADHD actually made them the success stories that they are today. Ty Pennington is here live, along with Nancy Armstrong, who is the producer of this project. Welcome to you both, and thanks so much for being with me. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I really appreciate this.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us on.
Awesome. Okay, Ty, I'm going to start with you. How'd you get involved?
I mean, honestly, I was pretty impressed when I was trying to make a documentary about ADHD, because there's just so many families that are dealing with it that a lot of people just didn't realize, and especially for me, who I was probably one of the earlier ones that. But I mean, I wasn't even diagnosed till I was in college, so I already missed high school. So my whole point was just trying to raise awareness to any other kid that's in a family that's just sort of not understood, and just there's definitely this lack of confidence that can really derail your life. And so I would definitely say I was one of those. A lot of parents would come up to me and just be like, "Oh my God, you remind me so much of my child, but you're somehow successful." And I was like, well, I mean, I found an outlet, that I could focus on. But up until that point, I owed my shrink so much in sessions. I was painting his house to pay off my debt. And even he said, man, wow, you finally found your outlet. I'm like, yeah. But
I'm going to talk to you more about that outlet, Ty. I want to know a lot more about that outlet and how ADHD actually ended up as a superpower. But first, Nancy, to you, you have 3 kids, all of them with ADHD. So how did you take sort of that experience with your family and then change it into a documentary that's going to, affect maybe hundreds and thousands and maybe millions of people?
Well, The Disruptors is the film I desperately needed as a mother of 3 children with this diagnosis. Parenting a child with ADHD can just be incredibly challenging and overwhelming. And the biggest problem around ADHD right now is we're still figuring out what it is. And for some reason, it's become really complicated. There's a deep disconnection between what society thinks about ADHD and what we know about it from the decades of research and hundreds, if not thousands, of studies. We know it's neurological. We know it's highly genetic. We know the parts of the brain it affects. So I wanted to gather together the top experts in the world to really, unpack this for us and reframe it once and for all. And then also to follow 5 families that were currently in the struggle of dealing with raising a child with ADHD. And then to assemble some really successful, high-profile personalities like Ty to talk about their experiences in childhood growing up with ADHD, but also to talk about how they found a path to leverage the strengths of their ADHD brain for incredible success.
Okay, and you really went to town there, too, because holy Dinah, do you ever have a star-studded lineup? So I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, but first back to you, Ty, and that whole superpower business, finding your outlet. Will.i.am said it's his superpower, and a lot of the other celebrities are saying, but for the ADHD, I might not be what I am today. So for anybody watching out there who might be adults thinking, gee, maybe that is me, or kids who know it's them and are really worried about success, give them the secret sauce, the magic that you discovered.
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, as I'm sure a mother of 3 will tell you, like, each case is completely different. But I mean, my mom used to say that listening to me was like trying to drink from a fire hydrant, right? And so, like, how do you make that your talent? Just like blurting out whatever comes out of your face, even though you're having a vision and you think you really know what you're talking about, because you're sort of like 3 steps ahead of where your brain is at the moment. But and I still talk like that now. I mean, look at me. I'm like, fragments of a non sequitur. And but I think what it is that the power that I think I had is I sort of had if I took the moment and like put pen to paper or crayon to wall or whatever, creatively I have, and even in the test I took with my mom, I have a really strong power of the positive and negative. I can see shapes. And so graphically, I'm very, art is that's my power, like the creative process. But just like anybody with ADHD is, maybe you could start a piece of artwork, but who knows if you're going to finish it. But you start a task and you're definitely not going to finish it. But I think if it was in the creative industry, if it was me working with my hands, I would somehow, solve the equation. I would finish the drawing, or at least come close to finishing. And I think that's the thing that's really changed, is the fact that once I got diagnosed and medicated, I could actually finish a task. But there's more than that, man. I was playing soccer as a kid, and I was okay when I was a child. But like right in the beginning of like early high school, I started growing and had no coordination. But then once I got diagnosed, like in college, like my brain just went, wow. Like I could read the field. I was scoring hat tricks. Even my brother was like, what's happened? I said, I think my brain's finally working. But that's a really good point you bring up, Ty.
And Nancy, maybe you can, because you've just done so much research on this, plus all these adult celebrities who have said it made me a success story. When you actually were able to nail them down and get them to do the documentary, did you also learn that they, like Ty, were able to really identify what it was about them and then find a career that fit that? And that's the magic path?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing about ADHD is that, it's something that needs to be managed, but because there are challenges that you do need to manage, but there are also some pretty impressive strengths that need to be accelerated. And if you can find a path in life to amplify those strengths, it can be a big asset. People with ADHD are really creative like Ty. They're very curious. They're not risk averse. So they take plenty of swings at big opportunities, and they see opportunities that other people don't see. A neurotypical person sees the world this way. A person with ADHD sees this, and they can connect dots that people might not think to connect. So they have all of those really great skills. They also have the ability to hyper-focus, so they can shut the whole world out and dive deep into a particular topic for hours and hours and hours. So those are huge superpowers that are not really appreciated, in a K through 12 environment. So that's why it's really hard growing up with ADHD.
Well,
but if you can manage your ADHD along the way,
I tell you, we need a whole hour because there's so much information. But in the meantime, for anybody watching right now, I just want to repeat the name of your amazing documentary. It's called The Disruptors. It's currently streaming on Apple TV. And there's going to be a ton more information in there for anybody watching who's like, aha, we're just scratching the surface. Ty Pennington, Nancy Armstrong, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.